Hello guys, I'm not Jake, and I'm here to tell you that you're right. You're right, and you should not feel bad about that, because the truth is that this DLC has something wrong with it, and the thing goes even deeper, and I will show you now. Let's start by moving in the main map, and let's talk a bit about who I am, why I'm here, why I'm doing this video, and what's the point of my argument. So I played Elden Ring for the first time when it came out for around 270 hours. At 100%, I'm a guy that loves doing challenges, etc. So I don't feel really scared about being challenged by very tough enemies. And the first time I played the game, I felt like Elden Ring was actually the easiest Souls-like I ever played. Extremely easy. But I played the game by exploring everything 100%, so I'm getting very strong. And on a lot of situations against a lot of bosses, I just completely destroyed them. I didn't use spells. I didn't use broken blood builds and things like that. But I was still very strong, and I just using some buffs, etc. managed to almost one shot every boss until the end. I was so strong, I was able to almost one shot even Malenia. Okay, I fought Malenia a lot. It was tough, but then with the right combo, learning the right things, I was able to do so much damage to almost defeat Malenia in a very short timing at the end after I learned the boss. And so I thought that Elden Ring was a very cool, not so hard Souls-like, open world Souls-like. It felt amazing because since it's open world, again, the main selling point of this game was that you can, if you have trouble on a place, ignore the place, go somewhere else, get stronger, and then come back later. Okay? After this, around a month ago, I played a Note at the Last Song, the demo, that will come out on September, if I'm not wrong, the full game. It is an Italian Souls-like. I'm from Italy, and I'm very partial. I'm very precise and sincere when I review things. And if I need to be critical, I'm very critical, and I'm very mad if something is not good. And the truth is that despite some performance issues that were some kind of glitches, maybe with some graphic cards on some computers, when I played the Note of the Last Song, I felt like I played the most precise, fast, and enjoyable Souls-like ever. To be sure, I was right. After that, I went back on Dark Souls. On Elden Ring. I bought Elden Ring here for my computer. I'm playing with the PS5 controller, but I'm on computer. And this time, I said, okay, instead of completely exploring everything, let's go straight to the point. Let's imagine to be a random player that just follows the graces and just wants to go straight to the end of the game. So I did that. I just went straight. So I didn't grab a lot of items. I didn't manage to power up my weapons a lot. I just leveled up a bit using the runes I got from only the bosses I met along the way. And what I noticed while I was going closer and closer to the end was that without the items, without enough runes, without being able to power up your weapons, without spells that can buff you, without, I don't know, maybe spirits that can help you, even if I never use a spirit. I think maybe I summoned once in the first playthrough I did, just to see how they work. The game is hard. The game is a fucking extremely hard. But I'm a very good and experienced Souls-like player, an action game player. And what I noticed was that the main Elden Ring game is extremely unfair. And despite being a very good open world, very cool to explore, etc., we can say a very good RPG, because at the end of the day you can do different builds. It is a very, very bad Souls-like. Extremely bad Souls-like. To do a comparison with Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3, in these games, you always have the tools to dodge and avoid the enemy attacks. Here, instead, I don't know why, and again, I didn't notice this the first time, and I'm sure a lot of players didn't notice this the first time, because we were so strong, we didn't care about taking some hits. But if you don't win a boss after just a few tries, if you keep fighting a boss for 10, 20 times, and you start learning the moveset, at a point you will notice that almost all the bosses in this game, or at least the main ones, have some movesets that are complete garbage, and they don't match your ability to really dodge and avoid attacks. This game is full of bosses, it's full of enemies that have unfair attacks that will always almost hit you no matter what. Even if you think you dodged, then you still get hit. And you get hit once, you lose your focus because you get surprised and maybe you die. What I want to say is that if you don't take a lot of damage when a boss attacks you, you don't care, you keep fighting and you win. But if that doesn't work, if you're not able to one-shot a boss or do a lot of damage to a boss and it does a lot of damage to you, then you're forced to dodge every attack. And if the bosses have attacks that always hit you because they are fucking unavoidable, or they're not clear, or they have fucking disgusting garbage hitboxes, that starts to become frustrating. And that's a bad Souls-like. Because every Souls-like, again, until Dark Souls 3, had very good hitboxes. Very clear and readable hitboxes. The enemies did an attack. You can clearly learn the attack pattern and learn how to dodge that. And then at the end win. In Elden Ring is different. In Elden Ring, I started noticing this when I went here against the Draconic Knight that stops you from entering the main city. That this piece of shit here had a lot of garbage hitboxes and stupid annoying attacks that used a lot of hazards, attacks that hit, for example, around the floor. Started making very hard to avoid them. Sometimes you dodge, you think you're safe, instead you still get hit. So this is the first one you can notice more. Another example obviously is Margit. Margit is a terrible boss because another thing a lot of these bosses have, they do a lot of fast attacks, like 2 attacks in a row, and you can dodge both. If you dodge in the wrong direction, you dodge the first hit and then you will get hit by the second hit. And that's bad. That's really bad. Because you don't have a double dash. Like, there are weapons that give you an ability that makes you double dash, essentially, right? But that's an extra ability. That's not your main source of dodging or avoiding attacks. So Margit is an example. This guy here is an example. The other wall is Morgoth. Morgoth is even worse. Morgoth is Margit, but like 2 times as bad as Margit. Because it has even more terrible attacks, hitboxes, multiple hits. And another problem of these stupid bosses, a lot of the time they tend to attack and then jump back. So you need to dodge. You have small timings to hit them, then they jump back. You need to reach them to attack them. And if you try, then they start fighting back. And you are forced to trade hits. A lot of these bosses are programmed like shit to be unfair. And this is the main game. And now, people are complaining about... okay, briefly, Radagon. A lot of the attacks of Radagon makes no sense. You see signs on the floor. Instead, there are points where you can dodge and points where you can't dodge. There is an attack that totally makes no sense. You jump, sometimes you dodge, sometimes you don't. You dodge on his back. It looks like you couldn't, but you actually can. The Elder Beast. The Elder Beast was so bad. He's considered one of the worst bosses in the Souls games ever created. So that they finally patched now, after like more than 2 years. They patched the boss and now you can summon Torrent. For a boss that is garbage, it just does nothing, running away no stop. And then from out of nowhere, it can do 2 attacks that keeps following you, making it almost impossible to dodge all of that. While meanwhile attacks you from long range with other garbage attacks that are very hard to dodge. It looks like you can jump them, but you can't. The main game was full of these shits. And the DLC is the exact same. They made the bosses, and then they thought, oh, this boss looks too easy like that. Like, a player can just learn the pattern and dodge everything. Let's make it harder. Let's give him an attack that is extremely unfair. And so what we didn't realize the first time we played Elden Ring is that the DLC is not harder than the main game. It is the same. Like, I didn't fought all the bosses, some of them maybe will be tougher, okay. But on average, it's the same thing. You know what is the difference? You know why you're noticing now the game is hard? The game is not hard. The game is made hard because of all this unfairness. And the main difference, what makes the DLC worse than the main game, is that in the main game, it doesn't matter where you go. You get runes, you get some stones, some better weapons, and you become stronger. Until the end of the game, until around level 100 and something, even if you don't have a weapon plus 24, in fact I won the game without buffs, with a weapon at plus 13. I defeated the Elder Beast like that, chasing the Elder Beast no stop around. So you can win there. And I didn't use spirit, I didn't use summons. But here is different. Because here, if you don't have weapons plus 24, everything is way too strong. And the enemies are as unfair as the previous ones. The first main boss you meet here is terrible. It's full of these bullshit attacks where, for example, he's attacking you, you dodge on a side, and you can see this on my long plays. They show everything I did in the while I'm live. I'm uploading this everything on YouTube, so you can see that. You can see me fighting the boss. And how many disgusting, unfair situations I found myself in. So, not only the hitboxes are terrible, a lot of times, for example, you do an attack, you feel like you hit him, and you don't hit the boss. Not only moves back, dodging randomly your attacks, not only hits you, even if it doesn't look like he hit you, but the worst part is that at a point, all these bosses start making bullshit attacks that, like, again, he attacks you, you dodge, but then there is some other stupid attack that was, for example, behind you, like a stupid thunder, that was impossible to see, that hits you, makes you jump on top of the boss after you got hit, and then the boss hit you on top of that with another attack, one-shotting you. So these disgustingly unfair attacks, if you don't have enough HP, if you don't have an high enough defense, will end up killing you. So you find yourself fighting for some minutes a boss, right? Dodging, being good, hitting well. But then all of a sudden, a stupid unfair attack that was unavoidable, unpredictable, hits you and one-shots you. And of course it feels bad. Of course the boss feels too strong. But the truth is not that the boss is too strong. The truth is that the stupid developers, for some reason, gave garbage moveset to these bosses. These bosses have just garbage movesets. And this is the same in the main game. But in the main game, you can get stronger by just leveling up. Here you can't anymore. Here, it doesn't matter what tech you do here. Exploring is pointless. You only need to reach places around these churches. Not this one. There are some places around where you can find some of those Erdtree shits. Stupid items here. that I still didn't use. I still didn't use a single one of these things. Okay? It doesn't matter what you do. Now, since you reach the soft cap on the level up for your strength, for example, etc., I'm playing the game like this, a very low level, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you are level 500. The difference is that maybe you have more buffs that will help you. But the core thing, to be really stronger, you just need to grab these things. So, in Elden Ring, in the normal game, you just go wherever you want, you always get stronger. But here is not like this. Here, you can go wherever you go and still get stronger, feel happy, and feel better. Now, the exploration is not really rewarding. If you don't find these Erdtree fragments, you're not rewarded for anything. You can beat a boss, you get runes. These runes are useless. It doesn't matter. What you want to do with the runes, you can do anything. Like, I can't put my vigor above 60 and get a lot of HP. I can't put my strength above 60 and get a lot of extra strength. I won't do enough damage. I won't get enough resistance. I won't get enough defense. The only way to get stronger is to grab these things. So exploring, defeating other enemies, all of these actions are now completely worthless. And this is the problem with the DLC. Previously, you get stronger, the bosses were still unfair, but it was very easy to get stronger, so you didn't notice this. No one noticed how bad the bosses were in the main game. But now, since a lot of you are not exploring, since a lot of you, I don't know, want to speedrun the game, and are going straight to the bosses, now, since you can't get stronger without grabbing these items, now you're forced to dodge all the hits of the bosses. And now, you're noticing how disgustingly bad and unfair the bosses are in this game. How terribly the hitboxes are. How bad it feels when you're sure you hit the boss, instead you didn't. And he fights back and kills you. And so yes, I was right. The demo of Enote the Last Song was incredibly better than this. Incredibly better than any Souls game I played. In that game, when I did an attack, lowering my head after an attack, and the enemy hit on top of my head, for example, with an horizontal slash, I didn't get hit. The hitbox are fucking perfect. Extremely good. Amazing. It feels very, very good to play that game. The dodges are fast. Very responsive. Here not. Sometimes here randomly, like you press R2 twice, and then you want to do something else, but no. Your character starts doing the R2 1 second later. An R2 that you played 1 second before, but you changed your mind, it doesn't matter. Your character is stuck on an action that you pressed 1 second ago, and then you will die. It feels very bad. The game is not perfect. It is very cool. It looks cool. There are a lot of cool things. The lore is good. I'm very interested. I'm very enjoying trying to understand the lore. I'm enjoying the exploration. But the bosses are bad. And like in the main game, if you don't explore well, and here even more again, here you're forced. If you don't grab all the Erdtree, you will feel like shit. You will feel forced to summon. You will feel forced, I don't know, to do what to try to beat these bosses, because all the bosses are garbage and unfair. And that's just the truth. Don't believe these disgusting elitary players that are not elitary, they are not good, yeah, they're not better than you. They're just more buffed than you. And that's it. A lot of people didn't realize how bad the bosses are. If you fight a boss, a low level, just train yourself to try to dodge every attack of a boss. You will notice that at a point, you will feel like you dodged it, but it still hit you. And that's the proof that these bosses are not good. Are not good for a Souls game where you don't have the tools to dodge all these garbage attacks. So yes, the game is hard, and the game is fucking unfair. If you explore well, the challenge will be good. But again, differently from the main game, you can't just enjoy the game doing whatever you want. Either you grab the Erdtree fragments, or you remain weak and you feel bad. You can't enjoy the game, the DLC, like you enjoy the base game, where you can get stronger by just exploring and defeating bosses. This is what I had to say about this. I didn't think to end up defending people that are complaining about a game being hard. But that's the truth. Because again, since I played the main game now very fast without buffing myself, without leveling up too much, I really discovered how actually bad was really was Elden Ring. And that's it. If you want to find me live, take a look at the links on the description. And if you want to talk about this topic, feel free to do that on the comments. I would really appreciate to have a chat with you. Please be polite and don't say shitty things to player. Again, if you feel like you're super good, I challenge you to start the DLC again, to reach the first boss. Okay, reach the first boss. Don't buff yourself. Don't take Scadu fragments. And just try to dodge all his attacks in a row, no stop. Let's see how many attacks you can dodge without starting to notice how many times he will hit you, even if he looks like he shouldn't have hit you. Try to do this. And then you will understand why people feel bad and why they are right about the fact that this DLC is unfair. Way more than the main game. I'm not Jack, this is Rufy, that's Nami. Robin was around, now I don't know where she went. I wish you the best, and I don't know if you want advice on how to get things better and how to win. I think you can follow again my lives. There you will probably learn how to fight all these bosses, because since I'm fighting them without spirits, without summonings, I'm trying to learn them as much as possible and try to understand how to really defeat them, essentially, despite all the stupid, unfair things they have. So maybe that's a thing you can do if you want to get some help against them. Bye bye.